Hey there, and welcome back to another Commands and Colors Ancients battle. Or actually, this will be another series of battles that we will do, because we will now be looking at the third Servile War. With a famous guy named Spartacus. About the Servile Wars, with three of them, we have done a battle from the second Servile War. Remember that was in Sicily in the last years of the 2nd century BC, where Athenion and Tryphon were rebelling against the Romans. So this is the third Servile War. We have Spartacus here, who, he was a gladiator and a Thracian slave, as it said here. At least we think he was a Thracian. But he was a trained gladiator, and he was in a gladiator school owned by a guy named Lentulus Batiatus. That was close to Capua, and he and a bunch of fellow gladiators in that school and slaves were plotting a rebellion over there, and you could say that was a successful rebellion, because this really spread to a massive thing against Rome eventually, which we will see. I mean, the series of battles that we will do from this war is quite amazing. I think there are 7 scenarios featured in this booklet, so we're gonna stick with Spartacus for some time now. That's cool. I think that's a really interesting history. So we are now in the year of 73. I think that was actually the year when the rebellion started in that gladiator school close to Capua. And from what I learned, the gladiators in the school who did the rebellion, it said it's 78 of them together with Spartacus. I read some other numbers in some other texts, but I think it's not that important. It's more like there were not too many, at least at the start of the rebellion. But from what I did understand, they didn't have really, they only had weapons when they were training or battling. So of course they didn't have any weapons to do the rebellion with, but they grabbed some knives and other kitchen tools from where they were, having meals during the day, and managed to overthrow the guards there and start a rebellion by that, and spreading out to the close by, the lands close by to the gladiator school where they were. They were also actually, getting hold of the gladiator weapons that were held in that school, so they could arm themselves quite okay over there. But then they also had some skirmishes and with local militias and guards in the area, and by beating them, they also got more military-like equipment eventually. And word, of course, spread about this rebellion, and as always, when people hear success stories about these things, as we have seen before in some battles, for instance, in the Second Servile War, other people, slaves, and maybe other people as well, actually came to, join the rebellion together with Spartacus. So they actually, the ranks did swell pretty hastily, I believe. Anyway, so they were raiding the countryside over here outside of Capua. Eventually, as we will learn, they will spread out pretty much, and they will even split up and all that. They will have enough power to split up even, and but we're gonna talk about that later. So this is still pretty local, because of course they needed a kind of a base of operations that were secure for them, where they could rest and pretty much live. So what they did was to go to the pretty much close by Mount Vesuvius, which is also the name of this battle, Mount Vesuvius 73 BC. So they went up that mountain, probably fortified themselves pretty good there. They knew the Romans would come sooner or later, right? And there they took positions. The good thing with that a stronghold was that there was only one road leading up to that fortress or fortified camp. So the Romans could only pretty much come one way. So it was easy to defend. Of course, the problem is the other way around as well. They didn't really have a good way out if the Romans would come to besiege them. And the Romans, of course, would have the manpower to do that. But anyway, due to the circumstances, I think that was the best thing they could do to hold a good defensive position where they had a chance to hold out against any Roman attacks. So I believe there were some minor groups sent towards Spartacus, and all those got beaten, and pretty much the Spartacus men could equip themselves more and more with good Roman arms and maybe also armor. So eventually the Senate started to think, okay, we need to dispatch something a bit bigger to get rid of this threat. So what they did was to send the praetors Claudius Glaber and Publius Varinius together with 3,000 men to suppress the uprising. And from what I learned, this was not really legionaries, these 3,000 men that they sent. They're more like a militia or, kind of temporary put together units that they would send down to attack Spartacus. And they thought really much this would be enough. So they arrived at the site where Spartacus were holding out or camping, and they of course saw the strength of his position and could not really see how they successfully could attack with, well, these militia troops, right? So instead, they started to build their own ramparts here. I mean, if you look at the map here, this is kind of the road up to the hill going that way. So they built their camp with ramparts, hindering Spartacus men from exiting their camp. So they would pretty much be starved out there. And that was fine for Glaber and Varinius. They thought, okay, we have time on our side. We can just wait them out. And sooner or later, they will, of course, die or give up. That was a Roman plan. So here they camped. And Spartacus, cunning as he was, he thought, of course, of plans how to do it. They couldn't really attack full frontal against Glaber Varinius' men because they will just smash themselves bloody against the ramparts here. Because still, it's Romans, even though it's a lot of legion here, it's still good equipped men and probably had some training, right? But most important of all, they had good positions here. But then they come up with the idea that they would actually descend down the mountain with some ladders that they built from vines found at Mount Vesuvius. So they did that. So if you imagine outside of the map here, back in the camp, it is outside of the map or the battle board. They did that and descended down on the other side of the mountain. For some reason, the Romans didn't have any eyes on that side of the mountain. They just thought they were, kept here and no other way out. But Spartacus took a good bunch of his men, I think actually the majority of his men, and together with himself, and went over down on the other side of the mountain, went down the mountain, and came back onto the, pretty much to the back of the Roman lines here. They still kept a good amount of troops also in the camp, because they will now probably they had some signal how they could, sink this attack, because as Spartacus' men, the slave army, started to attack the ramparts, the Romans, got their full attention against those guys. They still haven't any clue that Spartacus were hiding back behind their lines here. So the battle started here, and probably the Romans felt confident of winning this battle easily. But then Spartacus and his men attacked from behind, and well, that of course caused a mess in the Roman camp. I don't know what it said. It's just said here in the background info here. Attack from both sides. The Roman camp fell in short order, and that's what probably happened as well. They didn't have a chance. So a big win for Spartacus here. Beating 3,000 Romans. That was a significant victory for him. Also propaganda-wise, because I think now really many were streaming towards him to join his ranks, and we will really see his army grow to something really big eventually. But that's a short story about what happened in this battle. If you look at let's look at the war council then. So we have the slave army led by Spartacus. They will get 6 command cards, and they will move first. The Roman army, led by Glaber and Varinius, they will have 4 command cards. So I will give the slave army extra card in slot A and D. We play with a Stuka Joe's solo system. Fairly short battle, 5 banners. So I don't expect this to take long because of this, but also because of how it looks. But we're gonna check that out in a moment. So for special rules then, all the hills are considered impossible terrain. So as you can see, it's pretty cramped here then. It's not big of a battle frontline really. It's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hexes, But of course it opens up in the back here where the Spartacus men are attacking. Second special rule: if a slave unit occupies a Roman camp hex at the start of the slave player turn, the slave player gains 1 victory banner, and that cannot be lost. Remove the camp hex terrain tile and collect the victory banner before playing a command card. So there are actually 4 of the camps here, of the Roman camp hexes, fortified camps. So each of these, when held at the start of the slave turn, that will be turned to a victory banner for them. Marius Legon's rule is in effect, meaning Roman medium and heavy infantry have this special ranged capability of 1 die, moving or standing still. Then we have an I am Spartacus slave player rule in effect. And that's pretty much, it's a simple rule. Probably reflects the charisma of Spartacus or something, and he probably was really good at inspiring his men, because when you play this I am Spartacus card, you will of course roll the 6 dice as the rule base rule says, but you will also get 2 additional dice. So Spartacus will actually roll 8 dice when doing the I am Spartacus card. So that's an important one. If you get that card, it can have a really big impact. So that's it. Otherwise, for terrain, we have some woods and some camps and some ramparts. Of course, we can just ignore the mountain because those hexes are impossible. So let's look at the battle board and talk some tactics and set up here. So if we start with checking out the armies that we have, and let's start with Spartacus. So up there we have the attack that, you could call it a diversion attack or something, right? They are really trying to get the attention of the Romans here up towards the ramparts. And back there we have a warrior unit, we have a medium heavy, light infantry, another warrior, and an auxilia unit. So pretty mixed. And of course, they could engage these guys in skirmish combat and just wait out for the battle to happen in the backs before they attack. Or we could just press on. I'm really sure what I'm going to do with those guys. I think we're pretty even if we start on just throwing javelins here at each other. I mean, we have, as the Spartan player, 2 units that could do some javelin throwing. But maybe we should just attack. I don't know. Let's see what happens then. But here, back here is the interesting part. We have Spartacus here together with a medium heavy infantry unit. Probably his closest friends, you know, from the gladiator school, one could imagine. Medium infantry, so a good fighting power. We have some auxilia at his left flank, a warrior unit here, and then another group with 2 warriors, another medium heavy infantry. Interesting. So pretty good setup back here. They could hit hard, and if you remember from what we looked at just before the War Council, these guys are moving first, so it will be really, you know, important to see what, you know, what cards they have in their opening hand, because if they can, you know, activate a good bunch of units in the center or maybe right hand side, they could strike hard. Because if you look at the Roman setup, we have the leaders here, Varinius and Glaber here. They are alone in the hexes, so they could be pretty easily picked, and if so, also the slaves could advance into these hexes that could yield them a victory banner if they just could hold out there. So really important what we see as the opening hand for the slave army here. But let's look at the Roman army then. So up in the ramparts we have medium heavies, we have auxilia, light infantry, another auxilia. Back in the, you know, more of the camp area, we have mediums, the leader, another auxilia, yet another auxilia, and one more auxilia over there. And, you know, for instance, Glaber is really in a bad position here. He could be attacked from here or here. So the bad thing would be for the slave army if they just get a... let's see, from them it's a right-hand card. So central left hand, they would want that as an opening hand. That's for sure. As for the Romans then, well, of course, first priority is to attach these guys with some troops. If they can survive the first turn, that's an important thing, right? They might have a chance actually to win this battle. If they don't, if these guys falls and if those camps are taken turn 1, that could be potentially 4 victory banners already. But maybe at least 2 or 3, then they are in a really bad position, and this might be over in just a few turns. So for the Roman tactics, again, link up with the troops and then start hammering. I think, you know, there's one other problem that's, I think it's good to address here if you look at the setup, and that goes for both sides. You know, the Romans, they are retreating towards their own end here, of course. So if Spartacus and his men could block the retreat paths here, also flags will suddenly be heaped, and that's really important, right? You should also remember, of course, that ramparts and these fortified camps, they ignore one flag out of those, so that's good protection for the Romans. But as I said, the same thing also goes for the Spartans ambush group here, if we call it that. They need to retreat in that direction, so if they attack here, they might find themselves, you know, out of retreat paths because they cannot run back towards where they came from. So flags could be really important in this battle, actually, and, you know, trying to block the other guys' escape routes. Okay, I think that's enough said, so we'll start the game. Okay, hello again, guys. Actually, I had to put away the game after I did the intro last time and the setup. So I have done a setup again. This is a different day and all that, but so I don't really remember what I said in that intro video, but probably, as usual, talking a bit about Spartacus, how we ended up here in this position, basically. So I will, of course, not do that again. I will attach that first part of that video to this one when I upload it. Anyway, at last I got the time to set this game up again, and at last we can see the first Spartacus battle happening. And my apologies that I haven't uploaded for a while. It has been quite a hectic time now for me, so I didn't really get the time to play these games, but now we're on it again, and I'm really happy about that. So I will not talk that much anymore. We just start the game. It is let's see, it's a slave army who begins, and we'll check what they have in A and B then. So they have order 3 units center. They have 3 units left, which is actually over here, since slave army comes from that side. So this is their left. Even though it looks weird when they have these guys behind the lines here. So this always confuses my mind. You know, having these guys here, I forget where the direction where they should retreat to and watch left and right sometimes. But let's hope I get that. And then we have a mounted charge in slot B, which is not a good card for this game. As you probably have noticed, there's no mounted troops at all in this game, and that's that we haven't seen too often. Maybe in some early Greek battles, perhaps. Anyway, let's see what the slave army can play. That would be a C, D, or E card. So we're gonna actually reveal the whole slave army hand. See what they have. Okay, so slot C, another 3 unit center. We have a light troops. We have a few of them, but you know, I would like to activate troops back here to attack these leaders that are alone. That would be such a nice opening move. We have 3 right. Remember, that should be over here. So that could be some guys there and here. Not optimal. And then we have a counterattack in slot E over here. So obviously we're not going to play that. So I think the 3 unit center will suit us really good right now. So 3 unit center, not a bad opening for the Spartacus, because these guys could, you know, rush in and attack that leader. These guys could attack that leader. And this is a medium heavy infantry, so they can only go 1, but they're just gonna follow and give these guys some support, I believe. So I'm gonna order these 3. These guys rush right into the mess over there. Dangerous position to be in, a lot of Romans there, of course. But it's worth it if you can get that leader and also that Campex. I'm though wondering, if I kill the leader, can I then do bonus attacks? I need to check that up, actually. I'm going to do that right away, and then we start off with the battles. Just a second. Okay, so I found the thing in the rules, and it's kind of bad news for the slave army here, because if you attack a lone leader, whether it is killed or the leader doesn't evade, you cannot momentum advance and does not do the bonus combat either. So this is a bit risky, of course. We need to roll a leader, then we kill them, but we cannot take these Campexes this turn. Okay, so let's just start with this one first. That's Glaber over there. So we're gonna attack him and see if we get that leader symbol. No. So Glaber needs to evade 1, 2, or 3 hexes, and remember, this is the Roman side, so he needs to retreat in that direction. So he just attaches to that auxiliary unit there. Okay, that was a bad luck there for the slave army. Let's see if we can get Varinius instead. Second attack. No. Bad roll again. Nothing. So this leader will also evade. And I'm thinking, you know, it's a Roman turn next time. So maybe I can just go one. And then hopefully I get something in the center so I can attach with a unit. Otherwise, of course, this would be a bit more safe place to be. But this is how it went. Okay, so not a super good initial move for the slave army. I had hoped to kill at least one of those leaders, because now when the Romans get these leaders attached to units, they will be really dangerous. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Well, first of all, we're going to give the slave army a replacement card, and then we're going to see what the Romans have in A and B. Leadership any sections. This is a good one, actually. I can order the leaders. Clash of Shields, no, not that what I wanted. I desperately need to get those leaders into safety. So we're gonna see what they can play. Okay, this is interesting. So it's a C or lowest order count. And luckily for the Romans, they got the leadership any section in slot C as well. So we're going to play that. Just going to read that. Issue an order to units under one leader's command, linked hex and 3 adjacent linked hexes, or one unit of my choice. So I think the link... wait a minute. This guy is not linked. Crap. Wait a minute. So maybe... You know, I have no unit that can reach him either. These guys only go one hex. So this leader is actually... He will not be saved this turn. That was too bad. If I had known this result, I of course had retreated him all the way to the woods. But I didn't know. I was just relying on could activate something in the center. But we need to play the leadership in any section, and that would then be Glaber plus 3 units. He has 2 linked units, so let's order these and see if we can do anything. I wonder though if this... I mean, there's one thing I could do if it's possible. If this guy could detach with this command, this card, then I could actually move the auxilia over here to the leader and then move away the leader to maybe this one or one of these activated units. That would be actually something I would like to do. So I need to check the rulebook again if I can order 2 units in the same hex with this card. So again, just a minute. Okay, I found that as well. Leader may not detach when using the leadership in this card. So unfortunately, these guys need... he will be alone. So let's see what we can do. Of course, I would like to man those defenses. So I'm gonna... Yeah, what do I want to do? So I think... here's what I can do. These guys will not do anything basically, they just stay put. These guys will go down from the ramparts, go down here, and these guys will just stay, because I will attack this guy to just... If I get one hit on those guys, they are not that dangerous anymore in the next turn. So I'm gonna attack from the that camp hex, which will give me 1 less die than... yeah, it's 1 less die when you attack out from there. So we'd only get 2 dice with Auxilia. Maybe I should attack with these guys first anyway. Yes, do that. So I'm going to attack with the leader first. Glaber attacks with his Auxilia. It's 3 dice. Let's see what we get. We got 1 hit thanks to Glaber. And that's pretty good. That's pretty important. But they will battle back with 4 dice because they were full strength when the battle began. I can ignore 2 flags with the Roman player. So, oh, that hurt. They actually managed to get 3 hits into... No, it's a actually it's an Auxilia, so it takes only for green green symbol, so it's 2 hits. So 2 down for the Auxilia, and we're gonna check for Glaber with 2 dice. He's fine. Okay, next up, I could attack with that Auxilia in that. I will do that. It's 2 dice. You know, I still have the leader support, so I might hit them with something. Well, I got 1 hit. They will of course battle back again, but this time it's only 3 dice. And the guys in that camp can actually ignore 1 flag by themselves for the terrain, and then actually 1 for their being supported, and they can also ignore 1 sword symbol. But they got the green 1, so it's actually 1 hit on these guys. So very bloody fighting up here in the along that warrior unit, that those gladiators who charged into the Roman lines here. Too bad that I couldn't rescue Varinius, actually. That sucks a bit. Okay. It's the slave army turn. And they will get a tactical card or lowest order count. So what do they have as a tactic cards? They have mounted charge and a counterattack, which would be a leader in his section, which is only these guys, so that will be 2 units. Otherwise, I need to pay the lowest order count, and I believe that would be the mounted charge, which is only 1 unit. Well, I would like to order 2 units, that's for sure. So I'm gonna actually use my counterattack for this. And when I think about it, maybe, I mean, this is also a tactic card, so that doesn't count as the lowest order count, I believe. So that will be 3, 3. This is actually 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3 actually as well. And 3. So I could play actually any one of these or the counterattack, but maybe I could save the counterattack and play a 3 in the center instead. Yep. Let's do that instead. I think I can ignore that mounted charge when counting for lowest order count. This is not a section card. Okay, so 3 units in the center it is. So I'm gonna order whatever I have here. I have exactly 3. So I'm gonna take that camp, because that can give me a victory banner next turn, you remember. I'm gonna go out to this side with Spartacus and attack that Auxilia there. Would have been nice to block those from retreating. When I think about it, wait a minute. Maybe we should do that instead. So I'm gonna go... Yeah, let's do that, just for fun. I'm gonna try to kill that. Go like this. And then these guys will actually take that camp, and I will try to get Varinius once more. That's my plan. Okay, let's start with attack against Varinius. It's 3 dice, and a leader symbol needed. This time we got it. Varinius is captured or killed, and we get the first victory banner, and it's the slave army who gets it. And these guys cannot advance, so they will stay here and defend that one. Romans really needs to take it back, but they have a good chance to do it. They have good troops here who could counterattack and take it back. But we have another attack to do, and we're gonna do it with the warriors. So it's 4 dice, and the Romans cannot ignore 1 flag even. They are not supported there. So let's see what we get. That's Auxilia, so it's 1, 2, and actually 3 hits thanks to that. So he almost got destroyed there. But not really, so they're gonna battle back with 3 dice. Oh, wait a minute. When I attacked here, I would only get 1 die. Remember, I'm gonna reroll that actually. Just a second. So these guys, yeah, this can ignore 1 flag. Yeah, it's supported as well, and it's a full strength. So no hits there. Well, again, let's rewind this one. I should only get, let me see, it's actually 2 dice. So it's 1 die less because I'm in the camp, right? So I'm gonna re-roll that and see if we get Varinius. I rolled 3 dice, it should only be 2. Okay, it's good, we got it. We got him anyway, so that feels good. So we got Varinius, and I'll settle there. So now it's up to Spartacus to end this fight against that Auxilia with 4 dice. It's medium-heavy infantry against Auxilia, and we need 1 hit. There it is, 2 hits actually. So, bam, they go down, and we got another victory banner there. We have 2 now, and since we have a leader with us, we can both momentum advance and attack again, which we will of course do against that camp. These guys are, though, supported in a very good way. They have the camp that ignores 1 flag, and they are also supported by their troops. So they can actually ignore 2 flags over there, which it's not that good, but we still get 4 dice with Spartacus, and you know we hit with so much, so I'm gonna do it anyway, even though they can ignore also sword symbol. So let's see, that's ignored. That's a flag he ignores, and these 2 are misses. So bad roll by the medium-heavy. I mean, these medium-heavy infantry here are probably, you know, Spartacus' closest friend from that gladiator school in Capua. So, but they did miss. They did miss it. Well, it's hard to attack that camp that's, you know, fortified. So they're gonna battle back with 4 dice. This could hurt. This could hurt, and it did. They actually scored 3 hits, but again, I'm gonna re-roll. Remember, 1 die less. Man, I forget that all the time. So they actually only get 3 dice. Sorry, guys. It was a good roll, but we need to re-roll it actually. So this time, it's 1 hit against Spartacus, guys. I'm gonna remove 1 block, and then we gonna check if Spartacus survived. He did, but starting to get close. Okay, sorry about the mess with those fortified camps attacks. I need to try to remember to roll only, well, the full dice minus 1 all the time. Anyway, Spartacus guys are now in lead 2-0, and if the Romans don't manage to take this back, they will get the 3rd banner in the beginning of next turn. So let's see, we replace the card over at Spartacus, and then we roll for the Romans. That's a D or E. And that's actually cards we don't know what they are. So we have a double time, okay, and we have 3 units left. And remember, we need to try to get that, so I think I need to do that with a double time. Because the left hand section cards doesn't really help me as a Roman player right now. So a double time it is. And let me see, 4 or fewer foot units in a group. So it could be these 4, for instance. I wonder how much I need to bring up here. Okay, but that's the guys I want to use at least, I think. Well, let's do like this actually. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm gonna march. No, I'm gonna stay there. I'm gonna bombard. Let's see. Would like to get the leader support there. And it would be so nice to hit here as well. You know, I have a double time, so I could actually close in and attack there. Or should I just wait in the camp? Maybe that's safe. Yeah, it's more safe to do that, I believe. So, so pretty much these guys will not do anything, but these guys will march over here. No, I changed my mind again. I'm gonna actually march out here, right there, like that. That's what I'm gonna do, because I will bombard these guys with some javelins. I mean, it's very important to get that first hit on those warriors. Oh, so I'm gonna see if I can do that, but I'll start with the attacks over here first. That's more important. So I'm gonna start with a javelin attack down here with 2 dice. They can ignore 1 flag. And 1 flag is what we got, so nothing there. Then I will attack with my medium heavies. 4 dice. These guys ignore 1 flag and 1 sword symbol. No hits. Ah, that was a bad roll by the Romans. And now we have a battle back coming out as well. It's 2 dice. Now I remember that. 2 dice. A flag, but the Roman player is supported, so no worries there. But that was not expected. I was, of course, hoping to have a hit or 2 by that medium heavy. But I'm still gonna continue with the Auxilia. It's 3 dice. Now I have leader support as well. We really need 2 hits now. And we got 0 because they can ignore that. And they will battle back again. And sorry, 2 dice. No hits. But that was really bad rolls by the Roman. Really bad. Such bad rolls. I mean, not a single hit on these guys, can you imagine? We have 1 attack still to do. I'm gonna throw my javelins down to that, against that warrior unit with 2 dice. And they hit. That was the goal. To bring these guys down so they don't get that 4 dice attack. Okay, so some good and bad news by the Roman turn, but I think they would have liked to regain this, because now, as you know, we will get a new victory banner for the slave army. So before we roll the die, I'm gonna remove this one, and slave army will get 1 more. Okay. So this is basically raised, you know, it doesn't give the cover to the slave army player anymore either. Okay, but it's a slave army go next. They need still 2 banners to win the game. I mean, it could end already now. Let's see what we have. That's a C or lowest order count, and we don't know what C is. So that would be a move, fire, move. Or, I mean, mediums we have a lot, so that's not, we cannot use that. 3 left, 3 right, and 1, 2, or 3 lights actually. So how could we end the game? The 3 right is over here. We have these strong units. 3 left would be these guys. And they could, you know, attack here. Maybe they could get that leader and also that. But these guys cannot reach the enemy. That's the bad thing. So maybe I need to go with a 3. I mean, the move, fire, move is not interesting right now. I want to hit with some better units. So I'm gonna play 3 units let me see, right. So that will be over here. Now let's see. These guys will activate. These guys will activate. And let's also bring in these guys, because I want to maybe use that momentum advance. So Spartacus will go up the ramparts. These guys will rush in for an attack against the camp. These guys will also attack the ramparts. So I'm going to do these flank attacks first and then see who's the weaker one and attack that with Spartacus. Maybe if I can also take this one, that would be nice. So let's start it with attack against the ramparts. So it's the same thing there. I get the full dice, but they can ignore one flag and one sword symbol over there. But remember, I hit with leader symbols as well now. So that's one of these are ignored, and I got 2 hits. Not bad, not bad. So they will now battle back with 4 because they are medium heavy infantry. And I got 1 hit and 1 flag, which the warrior unit can though ignore because they are full strength. So I'm gonna not retreat with those guys. Then I will, with the other warrior or maybe gladiator unit, attack that camp, and it's the same thing, 4 dice, but I won't get the first sword symbol and flag symbol there for a hit, so that is ignored, but 2 hits there as well. They will now battle back with 3 dice, and that's 1 hit on the warriors. So now I need to decide what to do with Spartacus, and I think I will attack the camp, because if I kill these guys, that's 1 banner, and then I'm gonna go in here, and if I stay here for the next turn, we're gonna win in the beginning of the next slave army turn, because then I have achieved the 5 victory banner goal. So Spartacus will attack this camp with 4 dice, and as usual they can ignore that flag and sword symbol. So sword symbol ignored, but we got lucky there, 2 blues. So these guys are eliminated. We get the 4th banner like that. It's 4-0 actually. The Romans haven't, got any banners yet. And we're gonna go in here, and this is now super important for the Romans. First priority to kill that unit off and make sure they cannot, get the victory banner from that. So the Romans need to be really lucky with their roll now to get a good order here in the center, probably. But this will be hard for them now. Too bad they rolled so bad last time, because that would have been for sure a bit more fun game. But let's see, it's not ended. It hasn't ended yet, so it's the Romans who go next. Theory, and we have a few nice not known card. We have 3 units left on the Roman side. We have 1 unit over there, so that could be 1 attack, of course, but that's not enough. So what's here? We have 3 units right, not good. So it's all depending on this one now, pretty much. 2 right. Okay. The right-hand card we cannot play. We have to attack here. We have no choice, or the game is over. So we need to play the 3 units left. We have 1 unit, so we're gonna do 1 attack. So we get the 4 dice, and these guys can ignore 2 flags, 1 for being in the camp, and 1 for having the leader if you survive. So yeah, doesn't look too good, but we will roll the full dice, and they can also ignore the sword symbol. So doesn't look good. We need to have a really best roll ever. Okay, ignored, and these are misses, so nothing. So Spartacus will now attack back, and since he attacks against the back of these guys, they don't get the benefit of that rampart either. So that will give me, let me see, 3 dice. And they got, well, 1 hit on those guys, but that doesn't matter, because now it's the slave army turn. We're gonna remove this one and get the 5th banner. So this was an overrun, 5-0 for Spartacus. Amazing job there. Well, after the first turn, I thought maybe the Romans could, do it. But then the bad luck started with the Romans. Remember that leader who was there, Varinius, he couldn't be activated, so he was left alone here, killed eventually by this guy. And then the Roman counterattack to get back this camp failed so badly, so yeah, it was just kind of lost over there. And then with a good, second charge, first we kill off that auxiliary unit there, and then we could attack the camp and also come from the other direction. It was too much. They couldn't really handle that 2-headed attack against the flank here. So the Romans went down, and well, the rest is for sure history. But pretty cool. Was the fun scenario? Well, kind of short and kind of fun. I mean, I cannot help to think that if the Romans would have gotten those leaders attached to some good units after turn 1, well, that could be a bit of a fight. I mean, they have, what was it, like 3 medium heavies? This one here and that one, right? So 3 medium heavies, that's not bad. And if you have 2 leaders as well, you could be really deadly. Because that's the one thing that's bad for the slave army. They only have 1 leader in this battle. So, and would Spartacus die, then yeah, things could go the other way actually. But probably this is kind of reflecting history though, and that's fun. That's what I like with these scenarios. This is probably what happened, big overrun from the back. The Romans couldn't really get their act together there, and the leaders were just confused and didn't know really what's happening there. And remember, these are not proper legionaries either, so these militia units couldn't really cope with the situation either. They were just, ordered to hold these ramparts for the onslaught from the slave camp. Yes, okay, funny. So next time we will continue, of course, with this war, the Third Servile War. But if I remember correctly, we will not see Spartacus in the next one. The next one will be, I'm not actually sure, but I think it might be one of the other leaders, one of the Gaul ones. I don't remember which one, who will take on Roman, proper legionaries. And I think in history they got smacked real bad by the Romans. But again, that's a different story, and hopefully it will not take that long before I upload that, as this took from the last battle. We did the Sertorian War before. So anyway, thanks for watching, and hope you'll be back for the next one, and have a good time until then, and see you later. Bye bye.